From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. We'll go over those breaking stimulus checks and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we got to the breaking news happening on Saturday, as the fourth stimulus recon procedural has passed the U.S. Senate. Next up, the House, a new indication that the House vote will be sooner than initially anticipated and easier to pass than initially thought. Then we cut to the voting process and why the voting process is expected to be smooth sailing from here on out. New data revealed this Saturday morning and this Saturday afternoon. You're going to hear it first on this broadcast. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which heats up in just a few days as we go into the raise of your benefits up of SSI, SSDI, and Social Security and Rural benefits. Then we cut to the big money across the board as viewers getting $20, $30, even $50,000 for rent and utilities from this channel. And I'll show you one viewer who got over $100,000. It's your day to get this big money across the board and become a Purple Hawk, become a member of the Purple Power community, push for seats for stimulus, and push to get all this money that's ours. This is a big broadcast of Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend. You made it to the weekend. Congratulations. It's cooler here in Southern California in Santa Monica today, this Saturday afternoon. Thank goodness. If you did not notice Friday, I was not a happy camper. It was just so miserably hot. It was struggling hard to record. It was hard to be on camera. It wasn't that it was hot. It was just so muggy, and it was just incredibly difficult. The flowers are holding up decently, but keep your fingers crossed for the flowers because, boy, it was just a horrible day of weather. But today, it's paradise. So keep our fingers crossed. I can deal with a little bit of heat, but the mugginess, no. I am not in D.C. At least not yet. Jump in the live chat and tell me how you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from, and how's the weather. Don't vote me to D.C. Don't send me there. I can't take that weather. In this big recording of fourth stimulus, we're going to go over those monthly stimulus checks and why the Democrats are likely to give you more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon. Done deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people, and the biggest spending plan we've seen of a generation. It's $3.5 trillion of checks for you, and I'm very excited for you because now the viewership of this channel has now merged and moved into understanding that the big money is application-based, not automatic checks. And I'm going to show you all this incredible big money that's in this $3.5 trillion. Then we cut to the voting pass, and now we see several great news this weekend. That one, we may get done sooner than initially thought. Number two, less resistance than we originally thought. And number three, it's just in front of us, that finish line. But then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up a lifetime, and the incredible great news across the board. And then we'll cut to the big money that viewers are getting, as one viewer shocked us all with getting an astronomical $50,000 from this channel. And if you thought that was not the ceiling, get ready for Lorraine with $105,000 that she got from this channel for rent, food, and additional items. I'm going to show you how you get all this big money in this broadcast. And this is LALATE, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto, right after this video. It starts at 3:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You don't have to do a single thing. The video will automatically take you there after this video is done. Don't have to lift your finger. Sort of like your congressional leaders. And then we go into Evenings LALATE at 5 p.m. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next up, 1 million. Hit that subscribe button right now. The power of the purple, the power in the numbers. I want you part of this family. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right into that monthly stimulus check. House versus Senate, Senate versus House. Both monthly, just different number of checks. House bill is a pandemic plus 1 year stimulus check. program. Senate, July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House, $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. Senate, July to December. Let's go over how much that is, because word on the street is the I just sort of jumped my line here. But word on the street is that the Senate would pay you this. There you go. I was about to show you the wrong graphic. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. Deliciousness. Well, pandemic plus 1 year. Pandemic's not over. A new report released today shows consumer confidence, which concerns what consumers perceive in the economy as a strength or weakness, was the lowest number since reported in 2011. Consumer confidence is plummeting. Why? Because people think that the pandemic is far from over. If that's the case, then the House bill would likely pay pandemic plus 1 year, which would be at least 12 checks, which would be at least $13,000. Compare that to this. And the Senate, I think you have an opinion. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate, and tell me where you're tuning in from this beautiful Saturday afternoon this weekend. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that. If you got a third, you're getting a fourth stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Democrats represent, you're getting one. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Democrats represent, you're getting a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, you're getting a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security Railroad benefits, Democrats represent, you're getting a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for adult dependents and everyone else across the board. And the fourth stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you do own a YouTube channel and you're at the beach this weekend, do not have a viewer convince you to wave at the check, because you know the check is going to be there. And you'll be like, hey, check, how are you? Didn't wave back, rude check. I'm going to turn off the recording because I'm not going to let the viewers show how angry I am at you. Not a waivable check, just not a rude check also. And there you go. In the second half of this video, we cut to the deliciousness of $3.5 trillion of checks coming to the American people. You know, this $3.5 trillion of checks is the single biggest payout we've seen in the history of this generation. And it's incredible great news. And I'm so excited for the viewers of this channel because they're now realizing that the big money under all these stimulus packages is application-based. You apply and you get them. 99% of viewers of this channel qualified for this money. And the fact that it's $3.5 trillion, it's absolutely wonderful news. It's wonderful, wonderful news. It's confirmed that there's checks in there of $3.5 trillion for seniors and workers and all the details. I'm going to go over that in the second half of this video. Then we cut to the third part of this video, which is the voting process and why it may be going on a little bit earlier than initially thought. The breaking news you're going to hear first time on this afternoon's broadcast. Then we go over the least resistance anticipated. Yes, in fact, we now see that the path to the finish line may be easier than it thought just 24 hours ago. Then we cut to Fistimos as well. But first, let's get some money, get a pen and paper ready, because I'm going to get you some rent, some utilities, some food, some internet, and some SNAP. Let's go over all the details starting right now. Nearly 90% of all viewers of this channel qualify for this money. We're going to start with some rent, and that rent money is incredible. When I initially started recording these videos, I said I can get you about $5,000 for rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. Well, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I can get you a little bit more than $5,000. Yes, sir. Here we go. Are you ready? $27,000 has been gotten by viewers. Wow. Elizabeth, a Purple Hawk, got $27,000. Mark, a Purple Hawk, $25,000. Nancy, a Purple Hawk, $24,000. Richard, $22,000. And Nisi, $20,000. Gonzalez out of California tells me he got $8,000 overnight on social media. If you got a success story, send me your success story on social media. DM me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. Pamela reports to me she got $12,000 of rent. Congratulations, Pamela. Carla got money for utilities and SNAP. Tiffany got 13 G's for rent and some SNAP and also utilities. Randy got $6,000 for rent and utilities. And Jennifer got $5,000 for rent and utilities and lights and SNAP. And Cecilia got $1,200 for heat. That's a heap of heat there. Well, let's get to some utilities. I said $300 for utilities. I can get you, what is utilities? Water, gas, electric. Are you ready for this? Bam. Wow. Nancy got $7,000 for utilities. Incredible, Nancy. Great job. $6,500 for utilities from Mark. Angela, $5,000. Then Snap, which is money for food. I said maybe $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Are you ready for this deliciousness? Because it's food, it's deliciousness. Are you ready? Bam. $18,000. Louie, a Purple Hawk of this channel, got for Snap. John, $10,000 to $12,000. And Nancy, $5,000. Finally, a couple of viewers have understood, actually not a couple, all the viewers have understood the importance of getting multiple sums of money to get rent, to get utilities, and to get Snap, the Triple Crown. And the Triple Crown winners so far include, damn, here we go, Nancy, $32,000, bam. 3 items, Nisi, $23,000, 3 items, bam. And Mark, $32,000 for 2 items. 2 items? Mark, what happened to the third? Mark, come on already. Where's the third one? I had said that on camera for a week. I said, Mark, did you miss the memo? You're supposed to get the third one. The Snap. That's the easiest one, Mark. What are you doing? He got $32,000 for the 2 items. So for 7 days of recordings, I said to Mark on camera, I said, go get the third one, Mark. I said, get another 8 G's, get it to $40,000. That's such a great number. It's around a lot of zeros in it. We love lots of zeros. And he did get the Snap. He went and got the Snap. So how much do you think he got for Snap? Do you think he got 8,000? Do you think he got 5,000? Probably, 5, 6,000. What do you think? Well, Mark went and got the Snap. And are you ready for this? He got $19,000 for Snap, bringing his grand total to $50,000. Unbelievable. I am so proud of all of you. And this is LALATE. Now, this is what we've been doing since day one on this channel, launched in April when people's EIDL loans and EIDL grants were locked up in the vortex of application Neverland. The 330, the 331, and the 48 vortex were the topic of discussion on this channel. And what did I do? I stepped in and I started hand-holding their applications to the finish line, one at a time, on camera, off camera, in the middle of the night, in private messaging with viewers, getting upwards of 10 applications approved per day, $150,000 a pop sometimes, $25 million of money I got viewers at the time, saving their businesses, their homes, and their employees' homes. Then in fall 2020, second problem, which was second stimulus was not coming. So I stepped up and I got viewers $250,000 of rent, paid all their rent for 6 months. Tyrone, his family 4 from Boston, got $16,000 for rent for this channel from December all the way to March. And now we're doing it again. The Purple Hawks have stepped up and pounced. And now we're seeing numbers like we've never seen before. And if you thought Mark was the ceiling, it's not. I introduced you the largest single ever payment obtained by a viewer for rent, utilities, and Snap, Lorraine. $105,000, $640 obtained by Lorraine, a Purple Hawk and Purple Power and member and viewer of this channel. Unbelievable, covering rent for several years into the future. Food, additionally, and also additional add-ons. And this is why you want to watch this channel. Get a pen and paper ready, because we're going to get this money for you right now. We're going to get some money for food, some utilities, some snaps, some mortgages, and more. We're going to start with different eligibilities. First, what you need to know is each place that I'm going to show you 6, have different eligibility. If you reach out to one, reach out to the next. Reach out to the one, it says no, reach out to the next. They have their own eligibility. They also have their own pot of money. Number 2, there's money in every single state. Anyone who drops a comment says there's no money in their state, 99% of the time you're wrong, because there is money in every single state. There's not a single state I've not been able to give viewers money. Number 3, keep on pushing. Number 4, listen to the keywords I say in this video, because the keywords are really helping people get approved. And I want you to be the next Lorraine or Mark or Sandy or Nancy or Art Sullivan, who are getting $20,000 to $100,000 by being a Purple Hawk and viewer of this channel. All right, you're ready. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, your county house authority, your state hall, your state house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. That's rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Those are the simple words you say. City hall, city house authority, county hall, county house authority, state hall, state house authority. Rent assistance, mortgage assistance, or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or Ron Portman's popularity. Doesn't exist. And there you go. If you got money for rent or utilities, post in the live chat right now. And let's get now to some SNAP. What's SNAP? SNAP is money for food. You get it from Department of Agriculture. What's the eligibility? It's easier than a stimulus check. Why would you not get it? Lynn Glenn got it for herself, her son, and mom. Gail got it as well. And Louis got 18,000. Mark 19,000. And John 10 to 12,000. What is SNAP? SNAP is money for food. How much does it pay? A fortune. A family of 4 out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year. Wow. Why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up a lifetime. So go get it. And if you got SNAP, post in the live chat right now. And we're only 15 minutes of this video. And we've got money for rent, utilities, SNAP, and internet. It's time to get some more money. And it's coming back from your states. It's the return of the unemployment benefits due to computer error. Where's it landing? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yeah, contact your state. Say, hi, state. Where's that check due to overpayment of computer error? And when you track it this time, can you actually turn on the computer? I'm sorry, I can't find anything. Did you turn on the computer, Representative? Oh, I forgot. And the last refund is the money coming back from the federal government. This is the taxes you paid on that 2020 unemployment benefits. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it, and guess what? It's a waivable check. I know, Mitch. I know you hate those words. Cover your ears. It's a waivable check. There's a new wave every week. IRS confirms. The latest wave is about $1,200, arriving direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. If you're in the live chat, let's take a break for a second. A personal message. Post your success stories for rent and utilities right now. Why? Because when you post your success stories for rent and utilities in the live chat, you help people. And for the first time on Mornings LA and Afternoons LA, I want to show you why this helps you in another way. First, it inspires people to get the sums of money. People are sitting home thinking, I never heard they have money for rent. I never heard they have money for utilities. I have a utilities bill. It's $500. I'd rather have the federal government pay it than I pay it. So it inspires people to go get that money. That is the first wonderful, great news across the board. Next, it updates them about sums of money they never may have known had existed. For example, a lot of people have never heard SNAP before they found this channel. And Larry Maui, viewer of this channel, got $500 a month because he found out about SNAP from watching this channel. Number 3, it inspires people to get the Triple Crown. Art Sullivan and Nisi got the Triple Crown 3 items. And then they inspired Nancy to get 3 items. And then Mark had 2, inspired them to get 3 items. Finally, one thing that's really it's changing the focus totally in the last 7 days, is that now people realize that the biggest sums of money in these stimulus packages is application-based. The time and place to sit back and have your hand out and say, when is a check landing in my hand? Let me put down this donut. I'm waiting for that check to land. That mentality is departing finally. It's great that it's leaving us, the donut mentality, because these are people who picked up the phone and called. These are people who picked up the phone and called. And I mean, they made the effort to get the money. Some of them relied upon the volunteers, but no one just sat back and said, where's my check of $27,000 in my hand? My donut's getting soggy. They made the effort. They pushed as a purple power. And I love that you are inspiring people to push and get these big sums of money, because this is LALATE. All right, let's go over the remaining details about that unemployment benefits. It's coming back from IRS. Where's it landing? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Can you track it? Yes. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search, and 70% of the time it'll work. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. And then it'll reveal stuff you never knew, some stuff you wish you never wanted to know. Like, for example, when Bernie is in Vermont, does he get mittens in the shape of Ron Portman's head? Oh boy. Can we top that? Yes, it also reveals the refund check you came back from IRS. Can we top that? Yes. As we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update 2021, starting right now. Deal done. The U.S. Senate passed the fourth stimulus recon procedural this week. Incredible, great news. Why? Because the recon is the biggest that we've ever seen in the U.S. government. Number 2, it's just all checks for you. Number 3, it's a lot of checks. Hereby focus is what's gone on in the past. We had a first stimulus package was this big, a second stimulus package was this big, and a third was this big. This one is this big. The prior stimulus packages were nearly 90% dedicated to money for corporations, leaving you this much crumbs. This one is nearly all money for you with nearly nothing going to U.S. corporations. So there's a fortune of checks coming to you in this fourth stimulus recon. And as you've seen with these purple hawks that are getting this big money for rent and utilities, they're going up, picking the phone, calling, and getting $27,000, $32,000. That's what's going to happen with fourth stimulus. There's going to be 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 for you to get under this fourth stimulus recon. And I'm going to show you how to get all this incredible money. How do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot by taking roads and bridges out of the recon because initially it was in there and it was not making the recon passable. They got them out and put it into something called the bipartisan, which is the roads and bridges. A conservative publication confirms my reporting that says that by removing those roads and bridges, we got this to the finish line. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There you go, confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon, roads and bridges, and put in the bipartisan, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. In other words, the recon and the bipartisan were both passable. And this week, both of them passed on the U.S. Senate side. So how did they do this? Well, here's something you need to know that's very important, is that before the voting started on the Senate side, the House and the Senate Democrats had been meeting with the White House daily progressives to ensure that the recon was a big enough number. So that number 3.5 trillion was not from just the senators. It was from all Democrats involved. And so the fact that it's landing in the House is a no-brainer because they've already agreed upon the price. And this is why it's great news. Representative Richie Torres said we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie, 3.5 trillion. And Elon Omar says we have to have a recon that goes as far as we want. You got it, Elon, 3.5 trillion. How do they do this? By protecting the recon, because everything in the recon is checks for you. Checks of all types. Checks for workers, checks for seniors, checks for all types. And the president said protect my recon. I don't want my recon to get lost. And that's what Jalopal was told, and also Brian Schatz, that the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon its priorities. So what is a recon? What is a bipartisan? What is a recon procedural? And what is a recon substantive? Let me go over all the details so you understand them, because guess what? Both the recon and the bipartisan have to both pass, the president says. And they both have to land on his desk in the White House. You can't just send him one. So you can't just send him recon, and you can't just send him bipartisan. You have to send him both. So we have to know about both, even though only our money is in the recon. All right, first let's go over what the difference is between recon and bipartisan. It's easy to start with the terminology. I use only two words on this channel, so that makes it easy, recon and bipartisan. But elsewhere, they use other terms. So let's go over the other terms you may hear elsewhere, like the president says other terms. Recon is also called reconciliation. It's also called the budget bill. It's also called the spending plan. It's also called the progressive spending welfare plan. Price tag $3.5 trillion. Bipartisan, roads and also called roads and bridges, also called the infrastructure. Price tag $1.5 trillion. Bipartisan, not your money. Infrastructure, not your money. Recon is your money. All right, we have three bills we have to do. We have to do recon procedural first, then recon substantive after that. And also we have to do bipartisan. Let's go over the difference between recon procedural and recon substantive. Okay, recon procedural passed the U.S. Senate this week. What is recon procedural? It basically asks only two very simple questions. Number one, do you agree upon a price tag for the entire recon to be done at a later date of 3.5 trillion? I agree. Okay, thank you. Next question. Of that 3.5 trillion, do you agree to give $10 to this U.S. congressional committee and $20 to that U.S. congressional committee, et cetera, et cetera? I agree. Done. That's all it does. The total price tag and how much committees are getting of that total price tag. That's all it does. It's a very basic bill. It's a very basic outline. Then, with that, then when the recon procedural passes the U.S. House, which is the next stop, then they go and write the recon substantive. And that basically asks the question, okay, now that you've given a subcommittee $10, how are they to spend it? Who are they spending the money on? How, when, where, and how? Very, very basic and simple when I explain it to you. So let's go over who actually writes the recon. The recon is written by subcommittees of the U.S. House of Representatives. Those subcommittees are dedicated subject matters under the Constitution. For example, House Ways and Means is responsible for stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. These subcommittees don't have a lot of people on them, just a few people. When the subcommittees are done, they send their pages together up to Chuck. So let's say we have 10 subcommittees and 10 pages they wrote. He combines about 100 pages, puts a big S on them for salty. sugar-coated, slow. Schumer, Laverne and Shirley, no, Senate. But later in this video, you may see they actually put an H on it for House, because it may start on the House. How did we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot from Jalopal, who had Rich and Schumer letter saying Chuck called the vote on the recon. The vote has now been called, and the vote has passed on the Senate side for the recon. Procedural. That letter, though, was signed by 12 House Democrats who are part of the 100 plus who recently wrote the president a letter saying, we are putting monthly forced stimulus checks in the forced stimulus package. Well, Purple Power, you got to push and ensure these people keep their promise, because at a $3.5 trillion price tag, they have more than enough space to give you that. Can we top that? Yes. As 7 members of the House Ways and Means Subcommittee, oh, the one that writes stimulus checks? Yeah. They recently wrote the president a letter saying, when we write the forced stimulus recon, which they're doing now, we're going to be putting monthly forced stimulus checks in there. Oh, Purple Power, you got to push and ensure these people keep their promise. They're being given $3.5 trillion. They got to spend it on us. And can we top that? Yes. As the president has done it, Biden did it. He went overseas 7 weeks ago to sign a ceremonial signature. But the real signature was a few days ago. It's for something that's confusing, complicated, and boring, called the Global Minimum Corporate Tax Rate Minimum. It's great news because it's no longer needed in the forced stimulus recon. Had he not signed it, it would have been put in the forced stimulus recon. Now, easier to write the recon, easier to call the vote on it, easier to vote on it, and easier to pass the recon because this confusing thing is not in there. And can we top that? Yes. As we go into the final 15 minutes of this video, a lot of breaking news on this afternoon's broadcast. Stay to the final 15 minutes. It's coming up in just a second. We're going to go over why the voting process may be sooner than initially thought. Number 2, we'll see why the path to get things done to the finish line may be easier than initially thought. And number 3, a familiar face is back. Seats for stimulus. But first, here's something also wonderful. The volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, food, or internet, reach out to them. Help you get that big money. Remember, always make the effort to get the money first yourself. If you can't get it yourself, then reach out to them. Where do you find them? Open the description of this video. Click the link. It'll send you over to the community page. It's news.la.com/community. On there, their volunteers will help you get the money for food, rent, utilities, and internet. And I'll be back with you in 60 seconds as this big afternoon's LA broadcast continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Afternoons LALATE with some big breaking news in the final 15 minutes of this video. I'm excited you to join me. And stay on this video. Right after this video is over, it takes you into Overnight's Crypto because, boy, last night's Overnight's Crypto was the most watched ever in the history of this channel. Because crypto is really making a major run that is being seen in just days that it took months to do before. A lot of breaking news. And then we cut to Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock. So join those 2 shows coming up later today. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers are YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button. Stay with me all weekend long. I told you there's going to be a lot of breaking news. A lot of it. Hit that like button, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right into fifth stimulus quickly. As the president promised this during the campaign trail, and with days away from September, it's starting to heat up. This will become what the Democratic caucus calls fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus involves that SSI reform, raising your benefits up and then applying a new benchmark. First, they'll start drafting this in September. They expect to have this done by November. That means your benefit lift would be in November. Then they apply the benchmark in December for next year's benefits. And let's go over all the details starting right now. First, they'll raise your benefit limits up. Then they'll remove the asset limit, add inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Who is this for? You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. First step, they'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. Second, they'll apply a new benchmark. That new benchmark is inflation. I've seen some great comments to some of the viewers, but they're confused where they said, I heard that that the raise next year is 6.2%. That's COLA. COLA's going away. This is inflation. It's replacing COLA under the law. If they pass this, COLA doesn't do Zippo for anyone for 35 years. Don't celebrate 6% because that is, at the worst time of the economic pandemic, 6% ain't Zippo. So COLA is going away. That is under COLA. They're replacing that with inflation. Now, they may still get that 6% out the door this year, but the law is to replace it with inflation, which is a lot more. So where's inflation going? It's going to be transitory. Where's transitory? It's a temporary spike in December. And transitory is a word from Jay Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve. Well, how high is that spike going to go? I'm reporting that's going to be about 5%, and there's bigger inflationary concerns than ever before. This is amid new economic data that happened this last week and the week before. So first they're going to raise your benefits up a lifetime. Then they'll apply the new benchmark, and the inflation rate is 5%. Then you'll step up another 5%. Lifetime. Then if the inflation rate is 2% the year after that, you'll step up another 2% on top of that. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work. And they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. Finally, they're going to end the marriage penalty, and you'll be able to do the pair dance. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits, and your benefits will be restored if you were married. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married. Finally, will there be a fifth stimulus check? There will next year. Those House Ways and Means members represent. And finally, if you're in the live chat and you've not become a Purple Hawk, why have you not? The Purple Hawk emoji appears next to people's names who are members. As members, they're delivered to them from me daily via the YouTube community page, a breakdown of all the big money that they can get under first, second, third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. Because Purple Hawks have learned that the big sums of money, and you should learn this as well, are not from stimulus checks, but the other sums of money in these stimulus packages. Under second stimulus in December of last year, there was a $600 stimulus check. And as soon as they announced it, I said, sure, don't track and don't be excited about the $600. It's going to come. Don't focus on it. Focus on the $6,000 I can get you in this second stimulus package. And viewers understood that. And that's why Tyrone and his family four got $14,000. Then, in spring of this year, when third stimulus passed and a $14 stimulus check was going to come out, I said, don't be focused on it. It will land. Focus on the other sums of money in there. $14,000 I can get you. I got a lot more. Viewers getting $30, $50, $100,000 as a Purple Hawk of this channel. So consider becoming a member. The link is under the video where it says join here. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you under the fourth stimulus recon. It's the biggest payout in U.S. history across the board. In fact, it's such a big payout that a lot of Republicans are very upset to even look at it. Why? Because it's just checks for you of all magnitudes. What I've been so excited about, viewers, for this channel over the last week is that they've really refocused themselves, as I told them to refocus themselves, away from just looking at single checks and becoming financially independent and getting the big sums of money in all these stimulus packages. Here's what's at issue. The federal government understands you have some bills around the house. Let's say you have 7 bills. You have water, gas, heating, oil, mortgage, and then you have the car in the driveway, and then that needs to be fixed, and then you need some tennis shoes. And you may be looking at a stimulus check to say, hey, I need to fix the car. But that's the wrong way to focus, because the federal government will pay the first 5 bills. They won't pay for the car, and they won't pay for the tennis shoes. But the federal government will pay for the first 5 bills, because those are the type of items that are in these stimulus packages. And when you go get those first 5 items paid for, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 of those items paid for. You've become financially independent of those bills for the next 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. Suddenly you don't have to pay for those bills because the federal government's paying for it. And with that money freed up, then you keep the money in the bank and you have that money available to now pay for the car and the items in the driveway and this tennis shoes for those kids. That's why this $3.5 trillion stimulus package is the most exciting thing we've ever heard on this channel, because it's checks of all magnitudes for you to pay your bills. Many of them are application-based. And application-based, as you see in this video, is better for you because that's where the big sums of monies are. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 are obtained by viewers from these stimulus packages that have been in the past that were this small. This one is this big. And so what is in what are the types of checks that are in the 3.5 for all walks of life, for seniors, for workers, and more? We only have guidance as to where they're to spend the money. We don't have the actual bill yet, but here's some of the guidance. Free skill meals for all, tax-based checks, keepers prescription medication, immigration reform, money for farming checks, free internet checks, lots of checks for workers, like independent contractors, like unions, like collective bargaining, and lots of checks for seniors, like hearing aid, vision, dental, lowering the eligibility age. The great news that I'm very excited about, viewers, is that they've now realized that the notion of I don't qualify for anything is untrue. 99% of the viewers qualify for things, and they qualify for a lot of stuff. $20, $30, $40, $50,000. And this spending took a generation for Bernie Sanders to send out to you. So imagine he took an entire generation to get this money out to you, and that some people say, I don't want it. If you don't want it, get back there, because this is an enormous sum of money. It really is exciting. Now, let's go over the voting process. This week, the recon passed on the Senate side, what's called recon procedural. It decided simply two things, as you heard earlier in this video. How much? $3.5 trillion. And what's the breakdown of the money between the committees? $10 for this committee, $20 for this committee. Okay, what's step two? Step two is it's going to land in the House. And the House is going to pass us with soaring colors. Late yesterday and the day before, I told you about a certain fraction that was trying to derail this. I went back and I re-reviewed the article, and it looks like that fraction is not trying to vote against the recon. They're just trying to get the bipartisan before the recon, which doesn't make any sense because the president says don't do that. In fact, Nancy Pelosi has complete alignment among the Democrats to pass the recon. The vote on the recon procedural will be a blink of an eye, and it'll be done. You heard me say that for the Senate side. I'm saying it again for the House side. I know what I'm talking about when I talk about voting like that. So then what they do is that they then get the language of the different committees combined and call that for a vote. And that vote would be on the recon procedural. That's when we actually see the recon procedural bill. Now, let's go over timelines starting right now. The timelines are sooner than we were initially told. So you're going to see a graphic, here it is, and the star represents where things, or the asterisk represents things that are proposed. You can't see the word proposed because it's underneath the overlay graphic. 823, recon procedural will happen in the House. The vote on the recon procedural will happen in the House. That's earlier than initially thought, a few days earlier. That's going to pass in 10 seconds. It'll be done within 20 minutes. Then September 15th, the recon substantive is set for a vote, says Schumer. The 9/15 date is from Schumer. The 8/23 date is from Steny Hoyer. Why is there an H in asterisk? Because there's talk of maybe starting on the House side, which I adore. I love that. Why? Because House Democrats give more money than Senate Democrats. Number two, there's a lot more progressives in the House, and they spend a lot more money. Number three, it's coming out of the House subcommittees, the language of the writing of the bill, so I like the House to keep ownership of it. I love that. I also like that because then the senators have an extra swack at it with the vote-a-rama to make it even bigger and bolder. And then 9:30 is the proposed date to get the recon done. Now, here's the great news, is that when that recon debuts in bill format in 9:15, that's not the final version, because there may be something wrong in the language of the bill format. But guess what? The House Democrats and the Senate Democrats have already vowed to modify the language. That's incredible, great news, because guess what? They're promising you a lot of stimulus checks. They're promising you a stimulus check or checks. They gotta deliver. And that is why Seats for Stimulus is back. You are doing a great job overnight for Seats for Stimulus. Seats for Stimulus was a campaign I started last year, which basically says give us stimulus or throwing you out of your congressional seat. And guess what? All the major news channels today are talking about re-election bids. There's a couple of Republicans who are up for re-election in the House. They're worried about losing their seats. And there's a couple of Democrats up for re-election. So let's look at the graphic. There are 6 House seats up for re-election at the time at which this money would go out. And so they need to retain their seats. And the parties need to retain their balance of power. 6 seats going either way, Republican or Democrat, could change the entire makeup of who controls the House. So this is a very ominous threat to these congressional leaders. Give the stimulus or you will lose your seats. And guess what? Your party will lose the House as well. We could singularly, as the Purple Power, change the dynamic of how the House is made up if we push hard enough to ensure we get stimulus. Then in 2022, there is 34 of 100 seats in the Senate up for grabs as well. A lot of details across the board. Meantime, Nancy Pelosi, the president, Jalapa, have all spoken about the voting process. They all confirm that the recon will go first and the bipartisan will go second. First, the president says, I have to have the recon and the bipartisan both on my desk at the same time. Great news, which means that you have to ensure that no one tries to derail the recon nor derail the bipartisan. Number 2, Nancy confirms in new comments this week that confirms her previous comments. She's calling the vote on the recon first. She's not doing the recon without the bipartisan. That letter that I did talk about to you on Friday from the prom creators was basically saying just do the infrastructure and get it out the door. No, we're not just doing the infrastructure now. We are doing the recon first, and then we're doing the bipartisan. And Jalapa confirms that the House Democrats also want the same thing as well. Number 3, we have great news that there really does not appear to be anything that could derail the recon at this point. First of all, there's certainly not Republican, because that's the purpose of the recon. The recon unlocks the recon process. By passing the recon procedure, you unlock the recon process, allowing you to pass the recon without needing a single Republican vote. But moreover, we don't see any fractions or any concerns from Democrats whatsoever about the spending. So the only thing that we need to focus on really is ensuring them, 1, that they get the recon passed, and number 2, they spend the money the right way. And that's why you have to push Purple Power. Go on social media, Seats for Stimulus, hashtag Seats for Stimulus. Tag your elected officials. Say, you better put the right money in there. They're being given $3.5 trillion, the biggest payout of money for a stimulus package in the history of this channel. They need to spend it the right way. Spend it on us. And of those $3.5 trillion, there's a fortune of checks. And just like viewers who got enormous sums of money under second and third stimulus with me, $7,000 for utilities and $18,000 for rent for SNAP and $27,000 for rent. You're going to see under 4 stimulus these same amount of monies, if not bigger, because this is a bigger stimulus package than ever before. Push with Seats for Stimulus as well. And with that, stay on this video. It'll automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto right after this video. You don't have to lift a finger, sort of like Chuck Schumer. Then I'll see you at 5 o'clock. Don't miss me at 5 o'clock for Evenings LA. It's going to be a big show tonight as well. And with that, stay informed, stay focused. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video and become a member of the Purple Hawk community. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.